Alrighty, Lee Cole here, and I got Mike Jones and Gloria Gunn on, and this is our instant LinkedIn consultant kickoff webinar redux because the first one was fabulous but didn't download, and we're getting ready to go. Mike, you want to? I'm going to make you a presenter,
Okay.
and you can show us this bad boy and how amazingly cool this software is.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to start with, let me just grab the screen 1 second.
Okay, you should have, you should be a presenter now.
Okay, bear with me. Let me get, okay, so you should be able to see just a snapshot there of one of my LinkedIn profiles.
Yes.
Everybody. Okay.
Saw that when
Awesome.
you sent that to us yesterday.
Yeah, well, it's gone up even more actually since we spoke yesterday. It's I just wanted to before I sort of delve into the ins and outs of what the software can do. There's nothing better than seeing it in action, and I've been kind of using this account that we're looking at right now as a bit of a test bed for it, as we've been putting some finishing touches to the development and stuff over the last week or so. And it was a fairly steady account, and not a great deal happening on it. That's why I used it. You can see as we started to do a little bit of work over the last couple of weeks, and then literally I've been using this pretty much every other day or so. Not every day certainly, because we've been busy with the setup and all the rest of it. But look at that for a spike. It's just, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And that's profile views. That's connections. That's pretty much everything that you would hope to improve on a LinkedIn profile, getting improved just off the back of using the consultant software. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I just wanted to share that with everybody before.
Yeah, that is really cool stuff, and that ends up with a lot of people contacting you and reaching out to you. Yeah.
If you look up at the top,
I saw that.
There's a few people need to speak to me on this account, which is I'll get to them this week. Now we've got this launch out of the way, so yeah, that is great. That it just sort of kind of shows how well that works, and certainly there's been a few inquiries come through for the business that this account relates to, just off the back of doing that, and nothing. I've been tied up. I've literally just been letting the software run in the background, testing it. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So let's let me get on and give you the guided tour, because it's there's a bit to talk about. Although it's a pretty simple app to use in terms of there's not loads of buttons to press. It's not Adobe Photoshop or anything like that. It's actually more powerful, I think. This is unbelievable in terms of how simple the input is in comparison to how powerful the output of what's achieved by doing it. So first things first, the first thing you get once you've sort of installed the software, you put your license key in, this screen opens up. I will just point out, guys, I'm going to demo the Consultant Pro version today, simply because the standard version is just kind of, it's this with not quite as many features. So what I'll do is as I hit on a feature that is only available to our Pro users, I'll just mention that, so if you're trying to decide whether you need to go for the Pro version or the standard version, hopefully that will help you decide which bit of software that you need to do whatever it is you want to do. On both of them, the first thing we need to do is enter some LinkedIn account details. Now, these are the details for the account that you're going to be using to promote with, and of course, you can use this across different accounts. To promote completely different things, so that's the beauty of it. So it's quite as simple as just logging into LinkedIn itself. So I'm just going to go in and log in there. Okay. My fingers are working quite well for a Sunday. I try not to use them too much normally, but I can type. Okay, the first thing we come to then is this whole connect to prospects area. Now, obviously, as I'll kind of come to in a moment, that there are two modes of use for the Pro software. In either instance, we need to very much target the profiles that we want to connect with and we want to promote our stuff to. And the way we do that is by industry and by location. Now, just as a sort of side note, as we've had more people using this, Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question? Is there any way to make that a little bigger, what we're seeing? I mean, if not, that's cool. I just got a couple of folks who were having a little trouble seeing what's going on here.
Go to webinars, bits and bobs.
I mean, if not, don't worry about it. I think as you talk through it, they'll understand what those fields are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's no way to make that any bigger. Actually, it is the size it is so that it'll work on your small resolution netbooks and things like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
That's why the user interface is a little bit tiny. Yeah. Okay. So. What we need to do is type in industry and location, and just to kind of make a point that a few people coming back, I've had a few people doing stuff like searching for realtors in Florida. Now, if you go on LinkedIn right now and do an advanced search for realtors in Florida, you'll see pretty quickly these guys are some of the most connected people on the planet as far as LinkedIn's concerned. You know, some of these guys have got literally tens of thousands of connections, let alone sort of 500 plus, and that's the really cool thing about this software is, you know, in terms of using it to develop a LinkedIn consultancy business, we've really tried to streamline the way that it works in as much as it's going to go out and look for people that are really going to benefit from this service, and that's so to say people that have got less than 500 plus connections, because as we know on the LinkedIn profile page, once you hit that magic 500 mark, it just says 500 plus. You could have 10,000, 15,000. It really doesn't matter, because it for the rest of the world it just says the 500 plus. So what the software does is it goes out and it kind of ignores those people for the purposes of this, simply because, you know, we just want to be dealing with the people that are really going to benefit from the service that we can offer them as quickly as possible, and the best way to do that, particularly with the limitations that LinkedIn puts on us in terms of the number of people we can connect to and how aggressive we can be with the whole thing, it just makes sense to go after those people. So when you're looking at the industry and location, the more specific you can be, and I guess that's the same for any marketing that you ever do, but ever more so with this software, you know, if you can really narrow it down to a town or a city perhaps, then that's going to be really cool. You're going to get a lot of connections from that. You're going to be able to get your message across, and most of all, you're going to be able to really personalize that message as well, which, you know, we'll talk about how important that is as we move through it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to target. Who shall I target today? I'm going to target search engine optimization people. So I'm going to go for SEO consultant. And as I'm here in the UK, I'm going to target London. Actually, that might be a little bit on the big side. I'm going to go for Manchester instead, which is a slightly smaller town, smaller city here in the UK. So that's as simple as that. You just put the industry and location in. You then get to select how many records to either scrape or send out. Now, this is quite important because just from our best practice, our own experience, I know Lee and Gloria will back me up on this. What we came to realise is that if you go too aggressive at sending out connection requests, i.e. you're doing lots and lots and lots a day, pretty quickly LinkedIn gets a little bit upset about it, because, you know, you're just shamelessly spamming people when it comes down to it, and that's no good. It's no good for two reasons. One, because LinkedIn get a little bit upset about it. But secondly, because really the whole point of the whole thing with LinkedIn is about developing the connections that you got and actually dealing with these people and building relationships, which you can only do in kind of normal interaction. Which is why software like this is useful, because it kind of takes all the heavy lifting out of that and lets you focus on the important stuff, which is building those relationships, closing those sales, getting leads, and all the rest of it. So what we kind of found is the sweet spot, if you like, is around about the 50 mark. We don't want to be sending out many more than 50 connections a day. I mean, you could probably get away with 60. You know, it's not a definite science, but what is important is that you're not sending out like 100 or 200 or 300 or anything like that, which is why we've put those sort of limitations in place. So you get to throttle this. So obviously, if you want to target different people on the same day, we can actually choose the amount that we send. Now, this is a pro feature. The standard software is limited to just 25 a day, and you just do a blast of 25, and that's really cool. You'll get quite a lot of connections from it, but you don't kind of have that fine-grained tuning that you get with the Pro version, which is just something that we've put in there. So for now, I'm just going to choose 10 because it does take a little bit of a while to run once it gets going, and I kind of want to show this thing through to the end. The next thing to do is save your report. Tell it where to save a report. So I'm just going to click on that. I'll save it to my desktop, and I'll call it. Let's give it a name that makes sense. SEO Manchester. Okay, so I'll type that in there. And what's going to happen is, as the software runs, that's going to build the report up, and then at the end save it out to a CSV file, which basically will run in just about any spreadsheet software that you might have. Certainly it works well in Excel or anything like that. So that's ready to rumble. The last thing to do really is set the message, and this really makes this such a powerful piece of software, particularly in comparison to other things that I've tried. And one of the reasons I wanted to build this app was to be able to do this thing, because the only other way to do it, to the best of my knowledge, is to sit there and do that manually, which, you know, to do 50 connections, you're probably looking at an hour and a half of your time just sat there doing a very monotonous task. And, you know, depending on how you value your time, to me, that's not the best use of time at all. So the reason this is so powerful is, first of all, it personalizes the message. Behind the scenes, what the software does is it grabs the profile that it's looking to connect with, it grabs their first name and spins out a random greeting, either hello or hi or whatever, you know, and appends their first name. So hi John, hi Lee, hi Gloria. It's very, very personalized. Now this one feature, just that alone, sets you aside from probably 90% of people who are trying to use LinkedIn and just go ahead and add connections using the boring standard LinkedIn, you know, generic, hey there, let me add you to my network kind of thing that it sends out. We're all on LinkedIn, I'm pretty sure, on the call, and we've all had those messages. And you know, they just don't stand out. They're just merging with all the rest of them, which isn't a great thing if you're looking to try and reach out to somebody and build a relationship with them. So that the personalization is very important, and it just kind of, and the software just does it for you. You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about adding any kind of greeting at all to it. What you do need to think about is the message to put in there. And again, this is very useful, the personalization. And the more specific you are with your targeting, so I'm very, you know, being pretty specific that I'm going for SEO consultants in Manchester, I can write a connection message, a little message to send out to them that is very, very personalized and is really going to boost the number of successful connection requests I get, which is ultimately what we want. And pretty much from the experience I've been having with both doing it manually and then doing it using this software, you can see the difference when you hit with a good message and you put the time and effort into writing a good message and don't just kind of blurt something out. You get more connections. It's as simple as that, and you know, so it's the most effective use of the time and of the speed at which you can build your connections. Now, the other really cool thing about the software is what we've built into it is the Spintax technology. Now, for those guys that have been marketing for a long time, and you might remember sort of article marketing and all that kind of stuff, you may already be familiar with Spintax. But for those of you on the call that aren't necessarily, what I will give us just a really quick demonstration. And you know, I think we're going to look to try and put some links to some resources out there for people to kind of figure out how best they can use Spintax for what it is they need to do. But effectively what Spintax allows us to do is spin out a message every time it's sent. So again, it's just slightly different, it's slightly more personalized, it's pretty much unique to that person. And of course that's going to come across, that is going to come across in whoever's getting the connection request, and it's going to encourage them to connect back with you or talk to you or whatever it is you're looking to do. So the way I always start with a message is to type just kind of one message and then go from there. So let's have a think. I'm just going to do this kind of on the hoof. We're targeting SEO consultants in Manchester. So I'm going to go with something like, it's already going to put the greeting on, so it'll be, "Hi Steve, I noticed you're in a similar industry to me here in the UK and thought you might like to connect with me?" Question mark. Okay. Cheers, Mike. Okay. So it's totally non-standard already. It's going to personalize it with the greeting. Just to mix it up even more, I'm going to put a little bit of syntax in there just to demo it for you guys really, and give you an idea of how this thing can kind of work. I've got a message in there just to sort of change it out. I'm going to basically just use some synonyms for some of the words. So I've got the word "noticed" in there. And basically all we do is anything that you want to switch out, you wrap up in the curly braces. That's the ones next to the P on a standard keyboard. If you press Shift, not the square brackets, the curly ones. And then using the pipe character, which is the button next to the left-hand Shift key, you can start to put variations in there that the software will automatically use. So instead of saying "I noticed," I could say "I saw," "I came across," "I found." And all I'm doing is I'm just typing there and just hitting the pipe key to put the variations in there. This can be really, really powerful. If you spend literally a couple of minutes on just putting a few more variants in there, potentially there are millions of variants that could come out of using that message. I mean, straight away there we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 variants just on that basis. If I now add some synonyms for some other words, that number jumps instantly to hundreds of variants on the same message. So that's pretty cool. That really allows for a very targeted, personalized message, which is the thing that gets you the most connections, or gets your client the most connections, which is just as important in this sort of instance. The last thing to do is just to choose the mode in which the software is going to run. Now, as we've kind of already hit on there, it's not a good idea to be sending out more than 50 connection requests in a day, for all the reasons that we covered. Now, that doesn't mean that once you've sent your 50 out, the software has to go back on the shelf until tomorrow, because actually one of the really doubly cool features about that we've built into this software is in relation to the report. And I didn't want to kind of get drawn into that when I was showing you how to set the report. But now we're looking at this. I'll explain that, and it's also one of the big differences between the standard version and the Pro version as well. The Pro version, it's a data scraping Goliath really underneath. In this small unassuming piece of software, you've got potential there to really pull in some quite powerful data that it's scraping from LinkedIn. And the reason for that is when it's out there checking profiles and looking for suitable people to connect to, it's actually going to scrape as much data as it possibly can at the same time. I'm just going to, if I can just show you where that would come from. I expect I've probably got it on this profile. So if I'll just go into one of my LinkedIn profiles. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's there. This little box here, the contact info, what's going to happen is when the software goes off and looks to connect with somebody, it's going to have a quick look what's in here as well. So if I just drop that down, you'll see there's all kinds of really juicy, useful information that we can scrape from LinkedIn while we're in there trying to send that connection request. We've got an email address there. I mean, hell, you're literally building an email list with the software as you're making connections with them and all the rest of it. Very, very useful. There's telephone numbers, so if somebody's added their telephone number, it's going to scrape that, it's going to drop it into the report for us, which, again, for follow-up, it's very useful. You might outsource to some telesales type guys and that kind of thing. You can just pass these numbers into them. Very, very useful data to keep and have for the future. Beyond that, very often there's personal addresses. I haven't added one to this profile, but it will scrape that if possible. it'll scrape any websites that they've added to that, so you can go out and check their websites. And I think this is where we got chatting about the triple whammy last time, wasn't it, Lee? This is what we've got here again, and most people have added their Twitter accounts to the.
Sorry, Mike, I was muted and I was sitting there talking as usual and nothing was happening. Absolutely, I hate that. I hate that. Yeah, it's odd for me to be quiet. I understand. I hate that when that happens. Yes, the triple whammy. I mean, this is like so incredibly huge. So guys, get out a pencil and take notes. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. This just kind of I just kind of dropped this in there and forgot just what a useful little ninja tactic this has been for me over the years, and how everybody else can benefit. But particularly when you're using the software that we've created, because one of the things I do sort of as a follow-up, if I really want to get an appointment with somebody, I really want to talk to somebody, or if it's imperative, it's mission critical, I need to do a deal with that person or at least have a chat with them, I use a technique I call the triple whammy, where basically I'll go find them on LinkedIn, I'll send them a connection request on there, I'll then go and look for them on Twitter, and I'll send them a connection request on that. I'll follow them on Twitter, of course, to get the notifications. So that's twice. They've seen me kind of pop up on the radar. And finally, I'll go and visit their website and send them an email through the website if needs be that's dead personalised, and just said, whatever it is I want to do, can I come and talk to you about X, Y, and Z? And as a strategy goes, simple as it is, it's just kind of 3 points of contact. It's got to be 9 out of 10 times I get the appointment. You're just there, aren't you? You're showing some genuine interest, and particularly if you comment on, make a comment about the website and show that you actually have been there or something like that. It is a really killer strategy for always getting an appointment with the right people. And by the way, I'm talking about senior directors of big blue chip, massive, huge companies. It gets through to them, it gets right past the gatekeepers. So bear that in mind, because what's going to happen is every time you run the software, you're going to get a report that gives you the information to go ahead and do that, which is a nice byproduct. So getting back to that, we have actually got two modes, one of which is Harvest and the other one is Connect. Connect is kind of the core functionality that's going to not only find the people, but it's going to do the connection requests as well, the personalized stuff. It's going to go off and do that, and it'll spit out a report to let you know all that useful, lovely data. Again, I will just point out that is a feature of the Pro version. The standard version, it also it will run in both Harvest and Connect mode, but it only gives you a very limited. It basically gives you all the profiles of the people that you've connected with, and not a lot more really. So if you wanted the extra data, you would literally have to go and get that manually one by one, which it's a pretty time-consuming thing. But that's cool. If you either don't need the data or you're happy to do it manually, there's no reason why the standard version isn't suitable to do that with. So yeah, the harvest mode is literally, it just doesn't do the connecting bit. So it's just scraping data, it's harvesting data at that point, and saving that down into a report for you that you can use. And I'm starting to get one hell of a database together, even after just a couple of weeks of using the software. I've got spreadsheets all over the place full of people's email addresses and all sorts of stuff. Telephone numbers, where they are, what they do, you name it, it's in the report. So very, very, very powerful information to have, to say the least.
Yeah, and as long as, talking about the triple whammy, in case somebody's wondering, well, gee, aren't people going to get ticked off that you're spamming them or stalking them? No, not if you do it in a professional way. I mean, if you've got a good professional message, like the type of message that Mike has in that window, if you actually take an interest in them, say, hey, I took a look at your website, looks really cool. I especially like the part about whatever, so that your proof you actually took a look at the website. As long as you're putting the power in their hands, you're not sending them some 5-paragraph message with a bunch of numbers and crap that they don't care about, then that's fine. I mean, that's just many, many points of contact, and the right people will actually appreciate it, because the right people understand the power of sales there. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that is the key to it. I think, if you send them a big sales pitch straight away that's really hard and buy this and here's a link and here's how much it'll be, you're probably not going to convert too well. There's people that buy stuff though if you do enough of it, but you're probably not going to convert too well. I think, if you focus on building that relationship with the person and just genuinely showing an interest in them because you want to do some business with them, that's totally cool. That's I wouldn't have a problem with somebody contacting me like that, and I might end up buying something off them. Who knows?
Well, absolutely. I mean, people have to get in touch with you somehow, and especially if you're in business-to-business sales. I mean, you deeply appreciate someone who approaches you as a professional.
Yeah,
because not everybody does,
Yeah.
Okay. Like, as in 97% of all the others don't. So.
A conservative estimate.
Yeah, very cool. Why don't we take a second for a little Q&A, or did you want to wrap this part up, or?
Well, I've just had one more feature to show.
Yes, please.
Quickly let it just run through a few records, just so people can see how it kind of feeds back what it's doing and all the rest of it. I could also perhaps show guys an example of some reports that the thing generates as well. The last feature, the last thing that the software does relates to the ability to really put this thing on autopilot and allow you to get on with doing other more productive stuff while this is kind of working in the background for you. And what we've actually done, again, this is a pro feature just on the pro version. We've built in a scheduler as well. So if I come up here to Tools and go to Scheduler, that should pop up for me. Yeah, there we go. And literally, you've got a calendar here that you can basically pre-program, pre-organize the software to be running when you're not about, which is very useful. I did it yesterday. We were out and about yesterday. We were doing a few things. I still wanted to do my LinkedIn connections, so I just literally teed it up to do its thing about 11 o'clock yesterday morning. Sure enough, I came back. The report was there, and I had a few LinkedIn connections as well that were new to me. So it's dead simple to use. You literally pick a time and a date. So I'm going to say I want this to go off Monday morning, 9 a.m. I'm going to double click on there. You choose the event, which is just the start event, same as the start button. When you want it to do, so you can set it to the second if you really must. But I'll be happy with 9 o'clock. If I want, I can set this to keep repeating, which is very useful if you're running multiple instances of the software and you literally want to plan for the next week ahead or the month ahead or whatever. And I can set a frequency as well in all sorts. There we go. Minutes, hours, days, and weeks. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to set this one to repeat, but I'll just click that. Okay. As we say, it's popped in there. You can get rid of it from in there and all the rest of it. All I need to do is click OK and run on schedule up there instead of just run. And boom, that'll sit there and wait for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to come along. I could be in a meeting, I could be doing absolutely anything else I want, and safe in the knowledge that the LinkedIn work that I need to be done is getting done. Sort of behind the scenes work for when I get back. So that's very useful as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and click start, and we'll let the software actually do its thing for a few moments, just so you can kind of see what's going on. And what we've got down at the bottom in the green area is a little status bar, and there we go, it's logged in, so that's the first thing that it does. Obviously, if you put the wrong details in, you're going to get a prompt at that point to say, sort it out, check your details, you're putting the wrong things in. What that's next going to do, my virus is just interfering with that a little bit. What it's going to go off and do is then start to scrape some profiles as well. And again, like I said, it's very mindful to check for profiles that have less than 500 connections. So if you're using this to go prospecting for your LinkedIn consultancy business, there we go, it's done the search. You're safe in the knowledge that these people are prime candidates for the service that you're going to offer. And certainly if you're going to use the LinkedIn Hero service as your first service, well, they're just going to benefit so much because just the vanity side of it, the credibility side of it, if they've got less than 500 connections, they just don't look that important on LinkedIn. And of course, for everybody that's using LinkedIn Hero software, which I guess is probably most people on the call right now, you know, you'll be well aware of just how powerful it is when you hit that submit button and off we go. Get that run through quickly. So I'll skip that off. But, just to show you an example of a report, then let me pull one of those up. Let's have a look. I'll pull up yesterday's report, probably as good as any. I should have had this ready possibly, but never mind. Let's have a look. We've got a report. Okay, cool. Yeah, this was one I run yesterday. I don't know if that's a bit small, everybody can see it, but I basically targeted internet marketing people in the USA, and that's, you know, I did just over 25 there, and boom, all information's come back. I've got the profile URL, I've got their name, the position, where they are in the world. You know, this is great for ongoing marketing. There's kind of all sorts of stuff I can do with that. I've got the Twitter accounts for the double whammy. I've even got how many connection requests, how many connections they've already got there. So again, instantly, if I was going out there and looking to sell this as a service, you know, straight away there's this chap here in Tampa. He's only got 31 connections. He's definitely somebody who could benefit from a bit of LinkedIn consultancy. You know, likewise, we've got a couple of little golden nuggets up here. You know, these are the people that are really going to benefit from any sort of help on LinkedIn, and they're going to be open to it as well, because they'll be very, very aware that, you know, they look new on here, they don't look very well connected, and, you know, the last thing anybody in business wants is to not look credible and very publicly as well. So there we go. That's kind of it in a nutshell, really. I think I've covered everything there, have I, guys?
I think that is just amazing. Absolutely. Got a couple of little things. I know Gloria's been in here answering some questions. Let me just kind of start at the top. So had a few people ask how to run this on a Mac. You want to just speak to that for a second? Yeah,
I mean, in principle, obviously it is PC-based software and it runs best on a PC. If you've got a Mac and you're running something like Parallels, or you've got Split Boot, even better, then there's absolutely no reason it won't work. The software does need .NET version 4.5, which you can get for free off of Microsoft, and if your Windows is up to date, it should probably have that in there already. So as long as it's got those two things, you know, you should be pretty good to go. The other alternative was, and something we were chatting about the other day on that last webinar, Lee, was the prospects of running it on a virtual machine as well.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, which, you know, that's basically, you know, what you can, for those of us who've never heard of virtual machines and all the rest of it, what you can actually do is there are companies out there that will rent you a virtual PC for not much money. I had a look in here in the UK, and I was quite surprised how cheaply these things can be had now. I guess it'll be the same story in the US as well.
Yes.
And basically, you know, you can effectively rent a computer that is dedicated to you. You can remotely access, a bit like we're sharing our screens here. You can log into them and use them as if as if it's your own your normal machine, and have that doing a lot of your marketing stuff. And actually, that's I guess it's probably a slightly more advanced marketing strategy. But I run a lot of bots, and you know, they literally would slow my computer down if they were all running on here. And I've got I've got an i7. It's it's an alright computer by no stretch of the imagination. But still, if I've got a load of software running in the background, it slows things down, stops me from working. So one alternative is, for all of us really, is to look at using a virtual computer, renting one of those, and from over there as well. So there's a couple of options there.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to actually have your computer on. You know, so like if you got a laptop and you just sort of wander around and use it, you don't have to keep it on. It doesn't have to be connected to Wi-Fi or something like that. You can just run it. And also, for those of us who have more than one profile, because we're doing more than one type of business on LinkedIn, you could set this up and run this on virtual computers for each profile.
Yeah, yeah. It's and just to add one last point. I don't generally like my outsourced staff logging into my main business computer.
Surely.
Because there's kind of stuff on there. I want to break in it.
Right.
I don't mind them logging into a virtual one though, so you can outsource this to guys wherever and get it done for you.
Yeah, they would have limited access to your stuff. Absolutely. There's no way I'm letting anybody log into my main business computers.
No.
Kay has is kind of a question comment. So if you're in harvest mode, you don't need to add a message to that field, correct?
No.
Yeah.
No, well, it's not going to send it anyway, so you can,
right.
but it won't send it.
Mike asks, is the message just a text type file? Basically, he wants to know if he can add JavaScript to that message field.
No.
No.
You pretty much. I mean, obviously, it's a point of entry for LinkedIn's website, so it's fairly well locked down. You can't put a URL in there. You can put a telephone number in by all means, but yeah, it would be an opportunity for nasty people to do hacking and stuff like that if that was allowed. So
because basically
queries or anything like that.
Surely. Sure, you're basically, you can do the same thing there that you could manually just on a message in LinkedIn, and that's all text. They don't allow stuff for obvious reasons, or rather for the reasons that Mike said. I'm not sure that they're obvious. Samuel wants to know if the software has to be running to let the scheduler work. In other words, once you schedule it, do you have to keep the computer on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, you can minimize it, leave it in the background, and it'll just sit there and wait. But yeah, it does have to be running.
John, I think with the virtual computer, we really answered your question about the cloud. Okay, is there a way to tell if the connection is active or not? I'm not really getting that question. If you guys can figure it out, let me know. But Kay, if you could reword that, be happy to try to answer it. Tom says, as part of your consulting service, would you run the software for a client as well?
Yeah, completely.
and charge them a lot of money.
Hell yeah.
The answer, Tom, is...
That's what keeps the monthly checks rolling in. You can do the LinkedIn Hero thing once for them, impress the pants off them, and then keep doing it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So the resounding answer to that, Tom, would be hell yes. Will Harvester Mode get the website, email, phone details? That's Mike's question. Mike, it's going to get whatever they've got there, and different people have different things.
Yeah,
according to what kind of business they're in.
Yeah, for sure. And I've seen I've been targeting kind of people in the internet marketing scene, people sort of service businesses, people in financial service. I've targeted a whole load of different people with the software, and it seems to vary even based on area. It's kind of weird. I've given up trying to find what the logic. I think there is a logic behind it. It's just some industries in some areas tend to put more information on.
I think, yeah, I was kind of looking at that myself, and I think you just got. I mean, in any area, in any business, you got some people, some individuals who use LinkedIn a lot, and they probably got more information in there, and then some people it's just kind of a cursory use. So yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, just in case somebody ever wants to find them.
Yeah.
But it's not really that big of a deal for them.
Well,
so
I mean, I know when I targeted realtors in Florida, they were seriously connected up people.
Yeah, realtors in Florida are great.
Yeah, they're
until the market crashes, and then they're all waiting on tables. Mike wants to confirm something. In Harvester Mode, does not contact. Yeah, the Harvester Mode, Mike, does not contact anybody. It just gets the information and puts it in that spreadsheet. Ray says he also has more than one business. Do you use your real name on multiple LinkedIn profiles? So Ray, I use variations. I mean, this is what I do. I don't know what you guys do. But I use variations of my name. In other words, I don't call myself Bob Smith because I think that would be weird, because if I ever talk to a person, they're going to have to call me Bob, and I'm going to have to remember that I'm Bob, and that's just weird anyway.
Yeah.
Again, Kay says, again, on multiple profiles, can you show what that would look like? How are you presenting it, your name or another name? Okay, Kay. just to make this clear from my point of view, my full name, are you ready, is Richard Henry Lee Cole. Okay? So I have lots of variations to choose from. But my two main profiles that I use, one of them is Lee Cole, and the other one is R. Lee Cole. And I was actually, Gloria and I were actually tweaking one of my profiles last night. And because I'm kind of focusing it on a specific thing for a specific business that we're doing together, the other one's more of a generic thing. So Kay, to flesh this out a little bit, let's say that you were selling, I'm just talking here, Kay, so just fill in the blanks. Let's say you were selling copywriting services, okay? And let's say that you were selling video marketing services. Those kind of sort of go together, but not totally. And the rest of the world is not necessarily going to believe that you can write good copy and rank videos. Okay, so you might want those to be two different things. So in the profile for each, you would want to basically write one profile to substantiate the fact that you can write good copy, and for the other profile, you'd want to write that to substantiate the fact that you know what you're doing with video marketing.
Yeah, I mean, I've had similar to that as well, because you know I've got a few offline businesses like way out there, completely unrelated to any of this kind of stuff. And
right.
I mean, all I did was that. I'm lucky I'm called Mike, so there's Michael, there's Mick, there's like 2 or 3 before I even get started just on my first name. So I think it's just been a little bit creative, but still being.
You know, the fact of the matter is, there's more than one Lee Cole. Gloria, do you know who owns LeeCole.com?
I don't.
He lives in Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
And he's owned LeeCole.com for about 20 years, and I wish he would die, frankly.
Just Google Mike Jones. That's all I'm going to say. Or something. We're in every profession.
This is killer. It's so funny. He is a professional comedian in Vegas.
How funny.
I know. So I had to buy LeeColeOnline.com. But my point is, guys, your name is not unique. I'm sorry to tell you that. So, you know, Mike Jones, there's like 40 million of those. There's a ton of Lee Coles, and Cole is not like a totally, you know, common name. Now, if you there may not be many Gloria Guns. I mean, that's a more unique name, but there are probably a few, just on a guess. Because you're talking about millions upon millions of people, and I mean, there's only so many names. So just statistically, somebody else has probably got to have your name, which means that suppose the other Mike Jones out there in cyberspace just woke up one morning and said, "Hey, I want a LinkedIn account." Well, he's going to call it Mike Jones, and that's fine. You know, he's not going to consult our Mike Jones to see, hey, man, can I call it Mike Jones? He's just going to call it Mike Jones. And he's going to go about his business of getting people connected, and they're going to connect to that Mike Jones for what that Mike Jones can offer, and he's going to connect to our Mike Jones for what he can offer. So don't get too hung up on details, I guess is the bottom line of what I'm saying.
Yeah, and also on your first name field and last name field in LinkedIn, you have a little extra real estate. So I wouldn't recommend doing it in your first name field because that'll mess up search a little bit. But your last name field, you might be able. But you could actually do something like, you know, first name and then last name, and either in parentheses or with a pipe, copywriting services or something like that.
Right.
So it'd be Mike, first name Mike, last name would be Jones, and then he'd put a pipe, copywriting services, and use some of that extra real estate, some of that space available in the last name field, and that could help delineate it.
Yeah, and those would be your major keywords. Like if you were doing this because you're a freelance copywriter, then that would be it. You know, freelance copywriter, copywriting services, you know, advertising, whatever. Hamant has a good question, which is how does the software relate to the first one we bought integration-wise? They both just run on your computer. They're not integrated into any, you know, common dashboard or anything. You just, well, LinkedIn Hero you run one time and then you're done, because it just goes out there, it creates all those connections for you, and then you're a super connector, but it's over with then. So then you would go to consultant and run it on an ongoing basis.
And then we have a couple of questions. What if the search criteria you put in did not yield any results, like maybe the area isn't big enough? Do you just expand the geographic area a little bit, or
Yeah, I mean,
something like
actually,
that?
it's the other way around. I've tended to find it in terms of very few results. If you go too broad, the people that show up at the top of the list tend to be the most connected. So it makes less connections because they're already connected with loads of people. Whereas if you're fairly specific, you'll tend to get a pretty good ratio anyway.
And then do you need to have put either the state if you're in the U.S. or the country or something like that in the location
Yeah,
field?
I mean you can do. It's pretty freeform really. So actually, what that gives you the room to do is kind of refine searches with a few sort of modifiers on that basis, and kind of drill down into search results. So you can get more out of them. So yeah, the short answer to that is yeah. You could even you can put variations on the abbreviations as well of states and areas and stuff like that. And the reason that's quite cool is because there's such a variance of how people put where they are in the world. There's no real standard on LinkedIn as such. So you get people like where I live. Somebody might put Yorkshire, whereas actually the county Yorkshire in England is split into four individual counties. We've got north, south, east, and west. So I could search for web designers in Yorkshire, and equally I could search for web designers in all of the other directions, and pull up new results for each of them, and still be achieving the search that I was after. Does that answer that question? All right.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've got, and I'm looking for the question. I've got one person who ran it, and I'm not sure if something broke or didn't run it. I mean, didn't run it right, but if something happened, but was running it for something, and the connections failed. Virtually all of the connections failed. Have you seen that, Mike? Or
No, I haven't. I'd be interested in seeing a support ticket for that, and we can do the searches ourselves. If you could let us know exactly what you search for, i.e. the location and the industry, then yeah, we can look into that, because you should get some, but I've never seen it not get any. So yeah.
I'm going to Tom. I'm going to put in the support. You probably already have it, but I'm just going to drop the support ticket URL into the chat here for you. Just send us a support ticket, and we'll look into it. Hang on. There you go.
Now, here's an interesting question about running it. Do you have to run the software, either LinkedIn Hero or LinkedIn Consultant Pro, behind proxies? Or should you do it behind proxies?
Yeah, I guess that is an interesting question. It's not one that I've broached, because speaking to the vast majority of people that are using this, they're kind of using it on a handful of accounts. Now, I mean, if you're going to get really, really big, and you're going to run multiple instances of this across multiple computers on your network, and you're looking to build hundreds and hundreds of accounts up. In principle, that shouldn't be a problem, but certainly just as best practice, if you're at that stage as a marketer, then as a best practice, I'd be looking at using something like Hide My Ass in the background. I'd probably be clearing out my cookies fairly regularly, although the software doesn't leave much of a cookie trail for that exact reason. Just for a bit of best practice, really, because I guess it depends on you. I mean, your usage would have to be pretty substantial, but if it was, then obviously it's going to start setting off some alarm bells on LinkedIn servers, because it's going to look like a potential attack or something like that. And actually, that would be the reason that you would get blocked, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're just battering their servers that much, that often, that they've got to have security measures in place, and you might find you start blocking your IP or something like that. So, yeah, the answer is, if you're doing it kind of 24/7 on lots of different accounts, I'd get something like Hide My Ass on, and I'd probably have it refreshing the IP every half an hour or something like that. But other than that, that's why I haven't built proxy support into the software directly, because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really need it as such. Quite a technical one, that.
yeah, but that's good stuff. My guess is you would have to be doing a ton of this to even get near that problem.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, yeah.
I mean, guys, when you think about it, it wouldn't take, I mean, if you want to do this for clients, it's not going to take too many clients for you to make a nice income with this stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny that I've been reading, I don't know if anybody else has read the book out there, but it's just one that's finally made its way to the top of my must read pile, which is the book Rework, which is by the guys that at 37 Signals. They made some really awesome bits of software. And the kind of main thing I've got from the book so far is that sometimes it's better to kind of keep it a good manageable size and really deliver a good service to your clients, and just go mental trying to take over the world with a massively huge company. And actually, you know, it creates all kinds of problems. And I think that's the thing with this, is as a LinkedIn consultant with a decent, or any offline consultant for that matter, that's going to have any integrity, it's going to be silly to get to 300, 400, 500 clients where you're spreading yourself so thinly. You know, my approach, and I'm pretty sure Gloria would agree with me on this, but my approach is certainly I would rather keep to a manageable number of clients and charge bloody good money and deliver a really good service, and you know, everybody's happy on that basis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I call that small, fat, and happy. And, you know, the thing is, I mean, if you've got 300 clients, then guess what? You're paying a massive amount of money out in salaries to people managing those clients, and you got managers managing the people managing the clients. So it's not like your income went stratospheric, right? You know, it just didn't do that. I mean, I remember meeting a guy one time who was a serial entrepreneur, and, you know, he asked me what the gross revenue for my business was, and I told him, and he kind of sneered at me. And then as I was walking away, and I said, yeah, and I got about a 95% profit margin.
Yeah.
And he kind of followed me up. He said, what? Because I know what was going through his head. He's thinking, well, damn, you make money like I did. You know, so I mean, so you do not have to have massive numbers of clients for this stuff. You just need to, because really the end of the day, it's not the revenue, it's the profit is what counts.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Lyle, I am still battling Ebola.
Lee, were you going to show? I don't know if people have kind of seen the build. We seem to be have sort of drifted onto the subject of using this thing to kind of build a business with. Were you going to show the guys around the members area again, or
yeah, we can do that. Let me before you
just to see perhaps. Are you there?
Huh. Lee?
Talking again while muted. My bad. You know, I should not be multitasking. But yeah, let me log in real fast because I got to get another browser up because I'm well, no, don't actually. Just give me a sec. But carry on while I'm logging in.
Have we got any more questions on there, Gloria? I'm struggling to see some of them.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the technical questions, and I think we covered most of the technical questions. I had a question about the, I was going to type it in, but in the consulting video for Business Builder, it says that Gloria mentions doing clients' profiles for about $3.97, and that seems low to me when you spend 45 minutes to an hour doing a demo. John, the demo is actually, the reason why it's 45 minutes is because I'm teaching you how to do the demo. The demo is actually about 10 minutes max. If they have questions, usually I try to get it done in about 7 minutes and then leave about 3 to 5 minutes for questions. But the training is what the video is a training video, and that's why it's taking me a little bit longer, because I'm teaching you how to do that. Hope that answers the question. Hope I wasn't on mute.
But you were good.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I got to get my other browser up. And Gloria, we've had a few people who haven't bought this yet who asked for the link to the sales letter, and I had given you that bit.ly link earlier. Did you get that?
Yeah, let me go ahead and let me go ahead and get that real quick.
My computer's being a little slow, really, just because we're running GoToWebinar. So y'all just hang in there with me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to put this. I think I can just put this.
You just pop it in, yeah.
And send all. Okay, there we go.
And guys, the link is, it's a bit.ly link. So it goes bit.ly/LI consultant. All one word, LI. LinkedIn, LI consultant. So if you type that in, and if you haven't bought it yet, now's the time. You know, we've got a 3-day sale going on this thing for folks that have already bought stuff from us, and once that goes away, and we raise the price substantially. Just, you know, to be fair to you, you probably want to go ahead and get it. Fred will go over that in just a sec. Mike, you want to pass me back the, or I can make myself the presenter. Okay. Can y'all see my, basically I'm inside the members area.
Yeah,
now,
I can see it.
So let me move, I've got all these GoToWebinar boxes. Let me move these things around so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Hang on just a sec. So this is the basic version, that's the pro version, and this is the business builder, which is the OTO or the upsell from that. These two are the software. And again, the basic version, it does the connections, but it doesn't do the data harvesting. The pro version does the data harvesting. Y'all buy either one you want. Virtually everyone has opted to buy the pro version. Just letting you know that. So let's open this up and see what's in here. And this members area is what you'll see. When you buy this from us, you're going to get a bunch of emails, but among those are 2 emails, because you get emails from PayPal, you get emails from JVZoo, and then you get 2 very important emails from us. One is an email with your license key, okay, so you have to license the software. The other is an email from my members software, my members system, which gives you the access to what you're looking at here. Okay, so you'll need both of those. Are the important emails. You need both of those. When we sold LinkedIn Hero, some people were having a little trouble with their virus protection, so we realized as we were working with people that if you follow these steps, you will cut down on 97% of the virus issues. The software is completely safe. It's virus-free. It's just that since it's unknown and it's had in the world of cyberspace a relatively limited number of sales, it can trip an alarm on your on some people's antivirus. So if you will follow these steps and do this, then you probably won't have any problems. And we got help desk right here in case you do have some problems. If you're a visual learner, Gloria has download instructions right here for downloading the software, you know, not screwing up the antivirus and all that stuff and getting it going. This video, I actually sent that out to you guys a while back. You may have already seen it, but this is Mike essentially showing you what he just showed you on this webinar. So it's basically, this is the walkthrough of how to use it. And you download the software right here. Okay, so it's a zip file. You will need WinZip to unload it. That is free, and if you don't have it, you can just Google WinZip, and you will go to WinZip's website where you can download that. It unzips it. That's file compression software. It unzips it, and it will end up on your computer. Some people are asking about profile templates. Again, Gloria, one of the things that Gloria does is creates those professionally for people, and so here's a Gloria stamp of approval, professionally created template that you can use. And then it says bonus emails. It really should say bonus messages. I'll fix that at some point. But these are example messages that you send out to people. Okay, so if you're a little unsure about LinkedIn protocol, what the message should look like, I'm talking about what goes in this field right here, then you've got that. Guys, Gloria, if you want to answer some questions, my wife has apparently gone somewhere to take my son somewhere, and she's apparently taken him there, and he's fine, but now I've got this text message from her which says, "How do I get back?" So considering that I love her and I want her to come back, so if you could give me 2 seconds to just text her.
Sure.
So Gloria, if you want to just look at questions or something. And
Sure. Yep. Doing that right now. Just opening it up and taking a look.
in all fairness, there's an access road by the expressway, which is one way. So.
Okay, let me see. So I've got some a question, not that many questions. What is Business Builder? So Business Builder is basically, it is the OTO and gives you a complete marketing package in a box. It comes with a landing page with professional sales copy. It's designed for you to be able to market LinkedIn consulting services. So.
I just texted my wife instructions, so hopefully she will come home. This is Business Builder. Okay, so what Gloria said, this is what's in Business Builder. We've got a done-for-you landing page, and I will pull up a copy of the landing page in just a second. I've got that bookmarked on my other browser, I think. Do you remember the URL for that right offhand?
Yeah, let me go ahead and get that for you, and I'm just going to
landing page setup instructions. So the landing page would be, this is for people who want to be LinkedIn consultants, just like Gloria is. So ideally, as you're doing all this stuff on LinkedIn, you want to get people off of LinkedIn. You want to either talk to them, and we'll cover all that. You want to send them somewhere that would substantiate you and your services and all that. Basically, what I call these pages silent salespeople. This is something for somebody to go look at, read, etc., so that they think, well, yeah, that's really cool. That person actually does know what they're doing, and I want to hire them. Let's see, and I'm trying to copy that, and let's see if it copies. Was it websample.info landing HTML? Hang on, guys.
Yeah, we did an HTML.
Here you go. So where it says landing page right here, this is what's in the zip file. All of this. Now, if you've never set up something like that, it's super easy to set up, and we have detailed instructions, but let's just go over this. So you've got a header. You can change all of this. You got all the files where you can change all of this. We've got a done-for-you video with US and UK voiceover. And you can, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've actually included 2 different styles of videos. One landing page, 3 banner graphics that you can tweak there in PSD, and then two videos, and each of them are in UK and US professional voiceover. And then here's where the other landing, the other video is. Now it's not the landing page, we didn't do 2 landing pages, we just did 1 landing page, but the video is here. I'll put that in the chat if they wanted to see what the other video looked like as well.
It's on landing /.
It's leads dot web sample. Yeah, it's on a subdomain if they wanted to see that. Web sample info. Yep, and then / landing.
Is that .html?
Nope, that one's not. We just threw that onto a WordPress landing page. Just the video. It's just for the video.
Oh, okay. Just so you can see the other video.
Yeah, exactly, and see what it would look like on a page with the other video. So it's professional, geared. Yeah, it's geared towards like book of business type of people, sales, CPAs, finance, insurance, and stuff like that.
So that's what, and I'm not going to play the whole thing, but that's what that looks like. And then you have, this video. So either style, and in terms of, well, how do I get the right video at the right place? That's all in the setup instruction. Banner graphics. So if you want to advertise this on, you've got other sites, Facebook page, whatever, you've got the graphics to advertise your services. Let me move this. Here are the 2 videos, or rather the 4 videos, I'm guessing. We'll get to this in a second because this is really, really cool. Now, Gloria does this stuff for a living, and she's targeted for us some really, really big niches on LinkedIn that she works with people in. Commercial real estate agents, CPAs, financial services people, insurance agents, and just a general marketer's profile. These are profiles that you can work off of. I don't think you'd necessarily want to copy and paste, but you can work off of these so that you can create a really good profile for the person. Most profiles that people write for themselves on LinkedIn just completely and absolutely totally suck. I know mine did, Gloria, when you straightened me out back in the early spring when I was a LinkedIn failure. If y'all will do what she's, if you will follow these models, your profile will amaze people. I mean, I have people just reaching out to me constantly saying, man, I read your profile. That was great. And, Gloria, we were just trying some experiments a couple of months ago in one of my test accounts, and we tried to write like the totally dry, totally non-salesy profile, and doggone if people didn't reach out to me. And, some guy in a message, actually I had more than one, said, can you call me tomorrow, please? I really need to speak with you about your services. And I felt like saying, well, I was trying to screw this up.
Right. But
because we were.
Yeah, because we wrote the profile and kind of followed the recipe.
Exactly. Exactly. We were trying to. It was just, look, we do a ton of testing and pushing the envelope and stuff like that on LinkedIn because we want to know where the boundaries are and what works and what doesn't work. So apparently we can't break it. And if you want to actually physically advertise these services to people, who would be, Gloria, give us some ideas of some great people, great types of business people to hit up for this stuff physically.
Yes. So commercial real estate brokers are fantastic. Realtors are fantastic. CPAs are fantastic. Bookkeepers are fantastic. Insurance, both commercial and residential, kind of like the State Farm folks. And
basically,
stuff like
these people up here, yeah.
Yeah. So that one is, that postcard is just designed to say it's geared towards if you wanted to go ahead and do a direct mail campaign to send some realtors or something like that.
Or, with real estate agents, there are so many real estate agents per unit area in the United States, and if you live in a big population area, like I live in Atlanta, 6 million people, then get in your car and go to the office and just have a stack of these postcards and talk to the secretary. Say, can I hand these out, or would you hand these out for me? And I can guarantee you that they will hand them out. I mean, they do this. I was a realtor myself for over 10 years. They do this all day long. So because they want the agents to have access to stuff that will help them. And if you want to go the extra mile, make an appointment with the broker. and just sit down and tell him or her a little bit about your services. And this is a golden nugget. God knows, I hope y'all are writing this down. Ask them if you could give a little presentation next sales meeting. And I did some coaching about a year ago doing this stuff, and not everybody does what you tell them to, although when they do, they make money. But I had this young lady say, wow, I did that. It's like, it's like she turned on the faucet. It was crazy. And I said, yeah, I told you it would work. So those are all great ideas. How would you do a presentation? Take a laptop, get your LinkedIn profile, which is, just log into LinkedIn, talk about what the stuff we've talked about, the value of the big connections, the value of being a super connector, the value of having your profile done right. Tell them how to do it. Real estate agents, do the demo. Real estate agents are only working about 70 or 80 hours a week. They have zero time. The successful ones have zero time to do this stuff. So they will hire you to do this stuff. Cool. So that's what you get in Business Builder. And oh yes, here's the deal. So you want to know, so you do all this stuff, you run the software, you got people hitting you up on LinkedIn and saying, yeah, I'm interested in this. What do you do next? How do you go from there to check in hand to money in the PayPal account? All you have to do is do what Gloria does. When I looked at this, I thought, well, shoot, I didn't know that. Gloria hasn't been telling me everything. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in here, but if this is her closing video. I mean, this is exactly how she goes from I'm talking to you on the phone now, I'm meeting you in person, to you're handing me a check, and we're getting ready to go. And the beauty of this with the software is really the software does all the heavy lifting of the fulfillment. That's it.
Exactly.
And it would not take too many clients doing this stuff to make a very nice income. And you could really make a very nice income and work part-time doing this, if you really wanted to focus on this one thing. So the video takes you the rest of the way. And if you will just do exactly what Gloria does, you have an amazingly high closing ratio on this, I think, from what you told me.
Yeah. When doing the demo, it really is designed to expose all of the problems with their profile, because it shows them their profile, and then I do a comparison of a really good LinkedIn profile in their same niche, and then just kind of show them the differences. And then what I do is I show them areas, like go into groups and stuff like that, where they're missing out on huge opportunities. And then, I would right then and there close them right on the spot. Once they see that, you just ask for the sale after it. Now you've seen what can be done with LinkedIn. You see where your profile can be improved, where you're missing business. Let's move forward on this. And that's...
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The thing is, so what's going to happen in the potential client's mind? They're going to say, you message them, you're having a little chat with them. That, well, who is this person? They go to your profile. They always go to your profile. I mean, we started this webinar. You saw where even though all Mike has done is run these software, and a bunch of people have looked at his profile there. So the engagement just went up massively. So people are going to look at your profile and check you out, and they're going to want to see stuff. Gloria, I looked at, somebody hit me up and told me they were a social media consultant. I mean, this happens like 40 million times a day, right? On LinkedIn, and I normally just don't do anything with that, but I guess I had an extra moment, so I clicked on their name and I went over to their profile, and they had all of 123 connections.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, right, I'm hiring you, I mean, that's ridiculous. So that's where I was when I was a LinkedIn failure. So, but you use Hero, you get your connections up, you use templates, you get your profile straightened out, people go over there, they're going to be very impressed, because they do not see that from people who are advertising their services as consultants on LinkedIn. They very rarely see that, oddly enough. So, they look at that, they're predisposed to think you know what you're doing, even if you don't, because the software will do it for you. You follow the video, you talk to them, and just take it from there, and then you run the software. I mean, this is really a brain dead easy business. And I know y'all. I've got I keep seeing all these questions and comments fly through the chat, so I'm not trying to ignore anybody. I'm just trying to keep us on track here. Mm-hmm. Where are we in all that? Jerome says, do you need one, Mike, do you need one virtual computer for each client that you have? How would that work?
Oh, no, God, you might put so many clients you have, but for any mere mortal with less than 50 clients, one would probably be more than adequate, I would have thought.
Absolutely. By the way, with less than 50 clients, considering the profit margin and the fact that you're doing a lot of this with software, you can be making really good money.
Mm-hmm. I've got a couple questions saying what type of fees would you charge and what would you charge for LinkedIn Consultant, and why don't we do this, because we did a webinar, I think it was 2 weeks ago, 2 Fridays, maybe it was last Friday, where I went over how to build it. It was purely how I started a LinkedIn consulting business, and I put in some pricing and kind of went over the process. It was about a 2-hour video or something.
Yep.
Maybe we can get the link to the replay and send it out to people, or I don't know if you have the link to the replay. Maybe I can find it.
I'll have to dig it out. I think I mean it's somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
I've only got close to 500 videos floating around out there.
Yeah. Maybe I can find it real quick, because it really went in depth about all of that. I'm gonna look real quick and see if I can find it.
Was that the bonus to LinkedIn Hero?
Yeah, that was the bonus to LinkedIn
Hero. I think I put that up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Did I?
And I think it's in our Facebook group as well. So I just need to dig down. I'll find the link, because it really goes into everything, and it's exactly like how to, how to do basically build a LinkedIn consultancy business. I think this is it.
So Austin, that should look at that. I've forgotten exactly where it was in the
let me
webinar.
Put this in the chat.
But that was a great walkthrough of various levels of services and how much Gloria normally charges for that. So I think that will answer a lot of those questions.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat to everybody and sent it to everybody. So
John says, seems silly not to buy the pro version. We think so, John. But we didn't want to really just tie somebody down and say, yeah, you got to buy the big one. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because you just never know. We're here to make money, but we're also here to make money by helping other people make money. So we wanted to offer 2 alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
I think the price differential is going to be slightly greater anyway, isn't it, when we release this out to the
to the world at large? Yes. The price differential is going to be quite a bit more. Yeah, not only is the price going to be more, but the difference between the two is going to be more. Yeah, we covered the Mac thing. You got to use Windows emulator like Parallels or something like that. I don't think we really. Somebody said they hate Windows. Are we going to make one that runs on Mac? I don't know. Probably not. No. Considering that you can run it.
Short answer.
That's the short answer. Mike is like, no.
not trying to be hurtful, but no.
No. A virtual computer. All it costs.
Fred says follow the yellow brick road. Fred, not sure. Maybe you need a 12-step program there, buddy. Just a joke. I'm just, just being silly. Mike, I'm not sure what the price on the upsell is. It's around $20 or so. It's on a very slow. It's on a very slow dime sale. Now I know dime sales are kind of hateful because you look at it and you think, oh my God, I'm going to lose all this money if I think. No, it's a really slow dime sale. So, Kel just answered that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a question. Will there be any ongoing live trainings?
Gloria, can we save that for a second?
Sure.
Because, you and I have been talking about that a lot, and Mike, we've been talking with you a little bit about that, but not too much, and I think that deserves a whole conversation, because I'd like to get some feedback from you guys about that. But let's see if we can get through some more of these questions. Software only send a connection request once to those that are scraped. Mike, does the software only send a connection request one time when you're running it in the connect mode?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because otherwise, I mean, you're basically spamming the other party. The bit.ly link does not work, so Gloria, can you... I think I probably forgot to put, oh, here's my wife. She's safe, thank God. she's mad, too, because she heard me say that on a webinar out to the world at large. Honey, people in Australia heard that. Yeah, being married to me is tough, but anyway. So, yeah, I think we forgot, when I put that bit.ly link in there, I forgot to put the http:// thing, so...
Yeah, let me see if that works.
Yeah, the pipe key, guys, if you will look at a standard QWERTY, QWERTY, QWERTY keyboard, if you will find P, okay, top right-hand corner, kind of, sort of near the top right-hand corner, then it goes square bracket, curly bracket, one key, next key, closing square bracket, closing curly bracket. The next key over is a backwards slash, okay? And then above that, that little, it's like a double hyphen except it's vertical. That's the pipe. Okay, so if you will go shift that key, it's on my keyboard it's below the backspace key. If you will go shift that, I understand why you can't find it because it doesn't look the same. But that's exactly what will do it. John, we'll have to think about that. I'm not opposed to that. I just need to find out how much need there is for that. Let's see. I don't know if that's the same John, but got another question about something else. I'm making notes about these things, guys. Yeah. I'm not exactly, so this could be the same or different John. I'm not exactly sure how Gloria created that video, so I'll find out about that for you. Steve, we talked about that with the video link that we're going to give you where Gloria went into that in great detail. Monthly fees. Jerome lives in a French-speaking area. Mike, does the software still produce results?
Yeah, pretty much. As far as we're aware, it's compatible with any language that's searchable on LinkedIn. So yeah, but for sure, you should be able to search in any language. I had a friend of mine who speaks Spanish, who's out in Spain, and he's been getting some great results from it for sure. So yeah, if it's supported by LinkedIn, then the software will support it.
Michelle says, "What would you do to make this income recurring?" Well. With LinkedIn Consultant, you're running that on a recurring basis because you're continuing to reach out to more and more people, right? And you're building up their connections. You're helping them move that conversation along. And yeah, go ahead, Gloria, because I'm sure you got some good stuff to say about that.
Yeah, and the video kind of goes into that because you can actually add a component to it that is they're doing their attraction marketing for them, which is basically kind of a posting service, updates and posts, and then you can kind of add in cross-posting. Well, it'll automatically cross-post to Twitter, but if you wanted to go a little bit further, depending on your level of services, and I have that in that video. That we did a couple weeks ago. I put the link in so everybody could kind of see that, but I went into great detail on all of the different types of incomes that you can derive from a LinkedIn consultant business.
Absolutely. And I was just answering a few questions. Lyle says, to be a legit consultant, how many connections should you have? 500 plus, because nobody can tell.
That's right.
Unless you're logged in as me. Well, I've got like 2,800. Gloria's got God knows how many. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But unless you're logged in as one of us, all you see is 500 plus.
Yeah.
So you could.
I've got 8,000 plus. I'm about 200 behind. Yeah, about 200, almost 300 behind. I think I'll be close to about 8,400. So. By
the time you accept all those.
Yeah, just from this week, last week, I've about 300 to 400, and I don't. After you get to a certain point, it kind of people are wanting to connect to you anyway.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
it
300
seems
to
to
400 a
me,
week.
Gloria, that happens around 1,000 to 2,000 connections.
Yep.
You kind of
Yep,
start to
exactly.
reach a tipping point.
Yep.
Roy says, how do we do this with a potential client that is on the other side of the country? This is the perfect global business right here, because it really does not matter. Because you're running the software, you know, you're sending out connection requests. Those do not have to be received in real time. A big difference, frankly, between, let's say, something like LinkedIn and Twitter. Because Twitter is more of a real time. If you're going to hit up somebody for a conversation on Twitter, it works a lot better if you're doing it in real time. I use Twitter for a different business, but this is perfect for that. So in terms of closing the deal, just get them on the phone. If they're global, get them on Skype. You know,
I did screen share. Yeah,
exactly.
I did screen share. I had clients that were in. I'm in Las Vegas. I had a few clients that were, you know, local because I was in a BNI networking group. But I had clients that were back east. I had clients that were in LA. I had clients up in Utah. You know, all over the place. I mean, it's really not, for me, it wasn't worth it to go and jump in my car and, you know, go to somebody's office or something. It was just much easier to do it, and it's just communicating via a couple emails. The webinar that we did a couple weeks ago that went all into it tells you everything, literally everything that I did, how I got started, what I did, my process, everything. Pricing, I even include pricing in there.
You know, Gloria, virtually all these people are there because they bought are here because they bought LinkedIn Hero. Why don't we take that video and put it in the members area for LinkedIn Consultant?
Yeah, let's do that. Sure.
And Mike, that was a great, that idea came from Mike. Thank you, Mike. OTO for the pro version, same thing, Business Builder. Is there an invite to the Facebook group? Fred, you got a friend, one of us, and we'll put you in there. It's easy enough to friend me because I'm kind of easy to find. But if you will go to...
I have the link for the Facebook group. Do you want me to put it in the chat? Okay, let me go ahead and put that in the chat.
Fred, if we're not already friends, then friend me and or friend Gloria or Mike, and we'll put you in there. How do you have zero to the current price when you launch to the public? Yeah, I do too, Brett. That would be that's the ongoing idea. Austin, hold that thought. Kel, you can run this on your own PC just fine, okay? Or you can get a virtual PC. You know, if you want to go bigger with this and have several clients, you probably want the virtual computer, just so you don't have to screw around with making sure your computer's on and, you know, did it run and all that stuff. But you can definitely run it on your own machine.
Yeah, and I mean, you can get like a virtual, I have it's a shared server. It's got pretty good resources, and so it's like $19 a month or something like that.
They're
I think
super cheap. Yeah, I'm actually about to do this for the two separate things that I want to do with the software personally for my own businesses. Link to the sale. David needs the link to the sales page.
Okay, let me go ahead. There's the bit.ly. I'll put it in there. I'm just going to send it to everybody. It's the bit.ly link, and I put the HTTP in there as well. So there you go.
Yeah. John, we're working on software. No, we are working for the mother. We're working on the mother of all LinkedIn total done-for-you solution softwares. And it's going to be a few weeks before this thing comes out. But this is going to be like all-encompassing. It's going to completely demolish anything else that you could possibly think about ever using. The reason for that is, John, because, see, here's the deal. All three of us, Mike, me, and Gloria, understand how LinkedIn works from a sales and marketing point of view, from a getting business point of view. So when we sit around and talk about, like, the next stuff, it's not just creating something that looks pretty and has lots of cool things. It's, Well, how do you do this? How do you get people to actually do that? Well, how do you get people in a group? How do you manage the group? Because we all do this, right? We're experts at doing this. So we're taking that expertise, those best practices that we've done for a long time, and we're putting that in software, and that should be out in a while.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, that actually, because I bought a piece of LinkedIn software just to check out, really, a couple of days ago. I won't name it because I've just been professional, but I just really wanted to see, what's out there, what we're up against, if there's any point in us reinventing the wheel, because if there's a bit of software that does it, just send people to buy that. And actually, the software that I downloaded, as software goes, if you've got a geeky appreciation for the the details of coding this sort of thing, as I have, it was like, that's really, really good. I'm really impressed with how that does it. When it actually came to what it does and if that's of any use to me, well, not really, was the answer.
Exactly.
I couldn't use it on a day-to-day basis to do what I do on LinkedIn. So, and that's what it boils down to. This is the stuff that we do every day to get responses, to make sales, to do whatever. So if we're going to develop a tool to assist us in doing that, then it's got to serve that purpose rather than just be a whole really nicely put together piece of software that actually does do the stuff that's important. So yeah, it's going to be a few long nights, I think, between now and that launch.
Yeah, but that's going to be that would be an incredible piece of software. I mean, just so y'all know, just total transparency, that will probably be a monthly subscription, but we will do our best to keep it on a level where you guys can afford that. So let me just leave, because I know everybody's thinking, oh my God, how much you can charge for it. But this would be the kind of thing where once you buy this is all you need. I mean, this would be you could run an entire massive business. Our goal in creating the software would be to do two things. To use the software, so look, you could use the software to create the business that you're going to sell the use of the software to. Okay? So you want to run the software yourself. I know I'm being a little general, but you want to run the software yourself. You're getting all these people interested. You're getting them in groups. You're doing all this content stuff and all this cool stuff, traction marketing. You've got messages out the yin-yang. You've got Gloria's training on how to close them, all that stuff. So the software created your business for you. And then what do you sell them? Well, you sell them a service and run the software to do the heavy lifting for the service. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a glorified version of the pattern of LinkedIn Consultant. Yeah, Gloria, you just answered where do you get a virtual computer? Mm-hmm. Message, the content is available. Fred, I haven't looked at my Facebook page in a while. I'm not sure. Not sure what you're saying. And this is just me logged in as me, so yeah, just come over here and friend me, and we will we'll get you in there.
Interesting.
Probably.
They're showing you there, Lee.
Interesting. What now?
Interesting adverts that Facebook feels the need to show you.
Oh, let me see. Hang on a sec. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, why is that? Meet your girlfriend. I mean, I've been married since I was like 5 years old. I don't know. It's nothing I did. Where's my wife? I'm just joking. Thank you, Mike. You've already got me in trouble. Content page cannot be displayed. Austin, I don't know. I mean, here I am. Okay.
Saying the Facebook group is not available.
Facebook group?
Yeah, I'm on there right now. So
maybe it's just where you are, some sort of Facebook group weirdness.
Yeah.
Talking about LinkedIn Hero.
Yeah. Yeah, but you need to be I think invite to see it because it's private. So.
Yeah, right, guys. Yeah, I mean it's. I don't think it shows up. I don't even think it'll show up unless you're in there. Yeah, so that's probably what what that is. Lyle says I sent my wife out to get lost on purpose. No, I didn't. Cool. Anything else, guys, that we can questions? Bruce, I will look you up and put you in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually that was your message that popped up when we just went there. So, anything else we can?
Just the one question about the ongoing live training.
Oh, the ongoing, yeah.
Yeah.
So let us know. Yeah, thanks. Let us know what you think about this. Gloria and I do coaching some, and it does take a fair amount of time, but we're very successful at it. And would you guys be interested in something like an ongoing, and just leave that kind of like open? Okay, that idea of ongoingness open, not ongoing forever, but it's more of like a group coaching type thing. I mean, just let me know if that's something that you would be interested in. And I'm not trying to sell you this. I'm trying to let you know how amazing Gloria is. Because I have a whole nother business that I use a lot of social media for, and I think it was February, wasn't it, Gloria, around February? We were talking about how I was doing it, and I was saying, yeah, Twitter works fine, Facebook's tightened down on everything so much that it's getting hard to use, and you said, I said, where do you get most of your business? Oh, LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, I mean, I'm saying LinkedIn sucks. LinkedIn is like a giant dog poop pile. I mean, all I do is get contact with the wrong people, and I just get spammed all day long. And it didn't take Gloria like a nanosecond to focus in on my profile, what the problems were, and then coach me to where I am basically a LinkedIn superstar. I mean, I get more stuff from LinkedIn. Hello, Lyle. I will leave that up and add you. But I get more stuff from LinkedIn than I can deal with. So, from my point of view, Gloria is an amazing LinkedIn coach because, I mean, again, she's not just creating just some nonsense to sell you. This is stuff that actually works for her in creating a nice business. So if you guys would be interested in that, Gloria, we just had a bunch of people say they were interested in that.
Okay,
so,
great.
Yeah, so we will be we've been talking about it because we realize that there's an ongoing need for this, and that some people would like to go to the next level and work with Gloria, and me too, but work with Gloria in order to create a big business. So we will put that together for you. And Gloria, what should we do in that? Just like maybe have a little introductory webinar, kind of show them what it's going to be like or something like that?
Yeah, I'll have to take a look and see what types of things people are, first of all, like what types of things are you interested in, the, consultant aspect or the usability aspect, I mean, I guess that would be the first fundamental question, and then we can kind of, build the training around that. So
well, why don't we answer that right now? So what are y'all mainly interested in? I mean, do you want to be LinkedIn consultants, or do you want to learn how to use LinkedIn to build another business?
Or we could do a little bit of both, actually.
We're having a bunch of boths.
Okay.
Both actually makes, I mean, that's what I do.
The most kind of sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could structure it that way, no problem.
To where we could go, because really, Gloria, it's the same thing, right? I mean, the details aren't the same, but the basic picture is the same thing, right? Because you're basically, as a consultant, you're selling your services as a consultant, right? As selling whatever else it is that you're selling. I know we got people in here, for instance, on this call, because I'm recognizing the names, who are in. Austin, I'll hook you up, who are in network marketing companies, but it's really the same steps, it's the same stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah,
I think we have a lot of interest in that. So we'll be putting that together, and we'll just have a little introductory webinar. You guys can see where we're coming from, and we'll roll with that.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Anything else, folks, that we can help you out with? I know I got 2 people here I need to put in the Facebook group, but anything else that we need before we wrap this puppy up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any other questions for Mike regarding LinkedIn Consultant Pro or anything that's been on the webinar today?
Yeah, Mike. Well, the webinar is being recorded, and we will put that in the members area. Okay. And I'm actually going to put it back on the sales page for this, but also in the members area so that you can. So that you, I was just laughing at what Kay said. So that you can, get to it. Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Gloria, thank you. This was an awesome webinar with tons of great information.
Pleasure as always.
Yep. Thanks a lot, guys.
Cheers.
And y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the weekend.
Yep.
That equates to about 3 hours for me.
Oh, well.
I'm off for a family Sunday lunch, so that's a nice way.
Well,
Yep.
did you avoid the baby shower?
Well, no, because we left the fishing rod here, so we had to come back and...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Major mistake.
It was... me and the boy, we sort of ran in and ran out.
Running in and running out's a good thing. See y'all later.
See ya.
Cheers, Lee.